Welcome to the Success Face YouTube channel. In today's video, we will be discussing the topic of effective apologies with author John Kador. Apologizing can be a difficult skill to master, but it is an important part of building and maintaining healthy relationships. John Kador will share his insights and tips on how to apologize in a genuine and effective way. Stay tuned for valuable insights on this crucial topic. Your input matters. We would love to hear your thoughts on the video. Please leave a comment with your opinion. To build and maintain healthy relationships, you must apologize. An effort to reach out and admit that you were wrong is an apology. Anyone is capable of apologizing. Reconciliation and relationship restoration are the goals of an apology. For fear of appearing weak, guilty, or vulnerable, people are reluctant to apologize. The first step in apologizing is recognition, which involves distinctly identifying the offense. An apology must include both showing remorse and accepting responsibility. Restitution is the process of attempting to repair the damage caused by the original offense. Without a promise not to repeat the error, no apology is sincere. Important considerations include when, where, and how to apologize. Maintaining relationships necessitates mastering the art of apologizing. Since mistakes are inevitable and no one is perfect, it's important to know how to apologize. A sincere and prompt apology can end animosity, soothe hurt feelings, lessen the likelihood of legal action, and rekindle relationships. An apology can sometimes strengthen a relationship even more. In addition, denying wrongdoing can come with significant risks, and refusing to apologize could cost a lot. In the past, leaders avoided apologizing because they perceived it as an admission of weakness or guilt. An effective apology is difficult. Some apologies are superior to others, and others are worse than none at all. An effort to reach out and admit that you were wrong is an apology. Because it requires action, apologetics is a practice. It is insufficient to feel bad, you must respond to that feeling. In order to offer an apology, the responsible party must openly communicate with the victim. Finally, conciliatory sentiment includes lowliness, since you should put the casualty's sentiments over your own. Reconciliation, relationship restoration, and renewal are the aims of a sincere apology. The objective isn't to introduce legitimizations, safeguards, or confirmation that you were correct. An effective apology goes beyond simply expressing regret. The following steps are needed. Accurately describing the circumstances surrounding the misbehavior. Mentioning the particular offense. Taking responsibility for it. It went too far by expressing a shared commitment to moral principles. Restitution making. Pledging not to commit the same error again. Expression of remorse is the act of broadening ourselves, since we esteem the relationship more than we esteem the should be correct. There are two reasons why apologies are more in demand than ever before. First, cultural clashes brought about by globalization will undoubtedly lead to misunderstandings. Second, mistakes are now public information. Anyone's mistakes can be instantly broadcast using smartphone cameras and video sharing websites like YouTube. Lies, spin, obfuscation, unfairness, and cover-ups are no longer tolerated. They are now demanding apology, affirmation, and acknowledgement. The denial of effective apology has resulted in endless cycles of retaliation and untold suffering throughout human history. The majority of people experience the most harm when insults to their dignity make them feel inferior and humiliated. The most effective method for reducing the negative effects of humiliation is apologizing. The injured party is reassured that they are safe and not at fault by offering an apology. It demonstrates that the offender suffers as a result of his or her transgression and that both parties continue to share the same values. The most difficult words to say. People frequently resent apologizing for their actions. They are afraid of coming across as vulnerable or weak. They are concerned about being disregarded, misinterpreted, or judged. They are embarrassed to reveal their actions and feel ashamed of them. A few people wonder whether or not to enter any possibly close to home or fierce circumstance. Others prefer not to deal with the repercussions of their actions or risk damaging their reputations. Many of these concerns are unfounded. The majority of people accept apologies with grace and avoid excessively punishing the offender. The ability to accept responsibility when you make a mistake is necessary to address today's most pressing leadership challenges. Professionals were once advised not to apologize because it could be interpreted as an admission of guilt or liability by others. This perspective is shifting. According to new evidence, doctors and other professionals who adhere to transparency and participate in disclosure programs have a lower rate of court appearances than those who deny and defend. Consider the following 5 inquiries. What was the effect of my conduct on the person in question? What social value or norm did I break? Do I need to apologize? Do I have a right to accept an apology? Should explanations accompany apologies? A grant for research was given to a college professor. His grant money was still in his department's account when he finished the project. The professor was granted permission by the research committee to use the funds to improve his laboratory, but when he tried to access them, the account was empty. It turned out that the money had been used by the department chair to pay for his own research. The chairman responded, "I'm sorry for taking grant money that was rightfully yours," when confronted. "I messed up." The professor was dissatisfied with the chairman's weak apology because he never acknowledged the true offense, his dishonesty and lack of respect for others. The 2 most powerful words of any apology are, "I'm sorry," and "thank you." Although it may be tempting to attempt to explain how and why you erred, explanations actually weaken apologies. Instead of determining the damage that needs to be fixed by the party that was hurt, they support your desire to justify or rationalize your error. When you explain without attempting to clear your name, this is an exception. For instance, when the affair of former Senator John Edwards with a campaign photographer made headlines, he offered the following explanation in his public apology. "I became more egotistical and narcissistic over the course of several campaigns and began to believe that I was unique. Accepting responsibility without attempting to assign blame or rewrite history is the second step in the apology process. Do not look for forgiveness. Instead, concentrate on what the victim requires to heal. So that you can fix the relationship, accept full responsibility. We embrace our humility and make room for our true selves, imperfect and all too human, just like everyone else, by acknowledging, naming, and ultimately accepting our mistakes. Steve Smith, a football player, said, "I will not put myself into a position where I have to defend myself, to state my side of the story," when he broke a teammate's nose during practice. There isn't a side. There is only one side, and that is my lack of judgment. That is all I can really say. I don't have a reason. Remorse. The following step is to demonstrate regret by apologizing or saying, "I'm sorry." When you realize that your actions caused another person pain, you experience remorsefulness, which is a feeling of guilt or shame. Remorse for something done by another person cannot exist. You can only feel sorry for your own actions, and even that requires looking at things from the victim's point of view. Crying and tweaking and spinning are undeniably gone when you assume a sense of ownership with your own job, no more, no less, in what goes on. At the point when Dubai cops captured an English finance manager for engaging in sexual relations in a public spot, he communicated his regret at his preliminary. "I'm not afraid to admit that my actions and behavior were unsuitable and unacceptable. I feel a great deal of shame for my actions and the harm and trouble they have brought. I sincerely hope that this statement will demonstrate my sincere and abject remorse for my actions." Restitution. The injured party will want to know what you're going to do to make things right after you say sorry. Restitution is your effort to right the wrong. By repairing whatever item or piece of business the offense damaged, it restores the relationship. Take care of it if it's just a replacement or repair. Don't cut corners. Your level of restitution demonstrates your respect for the relationship. Buy a new shirt and a tie if you spill ink on someone's shirt. Replace the broken vase if you broke it. The court will usually order you to repay the money you stole with a formal apology. It is in many ways as moral to accept an apology as it is to extend one. You might be concerned that the victim will demand even more compensation than you offer because restitution is a concession of guilt. That is not typically the case. Frequently, making restitution actually lowers your risk of being sued. Repetition. The final part of apologizing is promising not to do the same thing again. Demonstrate that your error taught you something. Johnny Miller apologized to anyone who was offended by my remarks, in response to public outcry following his anti-Italian remark about golfer Rocco Medici. My goal was to express my admiration and love for Rocco's everyman traits, and it had nothing to do with his ethnicity. I will be more careful in the future because of my poor word choice. When, where, and how, when contemplating an apology, consider the following 3 inquiries. When ought you to apologize? In general, it's best to apologize right away, especially if you did something minor like spill a drink. However, put the needs of the injured party first. Waiting until everyone has calmed down may be a better strategy in some situations. In other instances, apologizing is never too late. Apologies for offenses committed in the distant past are sometimes offered. Where should you make your apologies? Face-to-face apologies are the most effective. However, if that is impractical, an email or phone apology will suffice. How ought you to apologize? Practice or record the apology to ensure its quality. 10 apology do's and don'ts when apologizing. Follow these 10 guidelines. No buts or ifs. Speak in an active voice. Don't laugh. Don't just assume. Don't ask, "What can I do to fix it?" Have a turn. Start the statement of regret with, "I." Use the individual's name. Don't go on. Don't fight. The art of apologizing. Anyone can learn to apologize. By keeping track of your interactions in an apology journal, you can improve your ability to identify actions that call for an apology. Before you apologize, ask yourself these 3 questions. What is the necessary transformation in me right now? What kind of bravery do I need right now? What is my willingness to pay for it? There are 3 actual things: accidents, human frailty, and repentance. Empathy for the person who has been hurt is a necessary skill for effective apology. By using different pronouns, you can get inside the mind and heart of the person you offended. On the off chance that you supplant "you" with "I," you can encounter the other individual's sentiments. For instance, Susan requested that Robert address her by her full name, but he kept referring to her as Susie. Until he asked himself how he would react if she addressed him as Bobby in a business meeting, he thought she was overreacting. He was able to empathize with Susan and alter his behavior thanks to this straightforward act of reversal. Humanity's perfect response to imperfection is apology. Make a list of the people for whom you should apologize. Include anyone you've slandered, betrayed, insulted, or mistreated. Start making amends once you have a list. Even if the other person is initially silent, investigate the situation if your instincts indicate that they are upset with you. Admit the offense and offer an apology. Don't let it fester and ruin the relationship by ignoring it. Thank you for watching our video on effective apologies with John Kador. We hope that you found the information helpful and that you were able to take away some valuable tips on how to apologize effectively. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe to our channel, The Success Phase, for more leadership and personal development content. We appreciate your support and look forward to bringing you more informative and inspiring videos in the future. Thank you again for watching, and have a great day. Your feedback is important to us. If you have any thoughts or opinions on the video, we would love to hear them in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. Share it with your friends and loved ones. We send you thousands of blessings, much success, and much happiness for you and your entire family.